It's very refreshing when you come across a really hot take. The kind that instantly makes you pause, question everything, or straight up yell at your screen. They are rare these days, but when you find one, it's like striking gold in a sea of safe options. So a couple days ago, I asked you guys to give me your absolute hottest One Piece takes. Today, I'll see if I agree with them and also rank them from ice cold all the way up to volcanic heat. Don't forget to comment your hot takes down below for the next part. Let's see if you guys delivered this time. This person contributed with a lot of takes, shout out, but let's zoom in on this one for now. Sabo is a better character than Ace. Now this is interesting and I'm sure it could cause a lot of debate, because if you look at the recent worldwide popularity poll, Ace sits in 9th and Sabo in 10th, which is crazy because this means the fanbase is almost at an even split. Let's say this guy is right and Sabo is the better character. Why would that be? For starters, you could argue that Sabo's character arc is stronger. Born into a noble family that valued status over his well-being, Sabo ran away to seek freedom. He met his first few friends in Luffy and Ace, but he was captured and forced back into his past life. After discovering that the nobles planned to burn down Great Terminal, he fled again, only to have his ship destroyed by a world noble. Rescued by Dragon and left with amnesia, Sabo unknowingly rejected his traumatic past and found purpose with the revolutionaries, until his memories returned after Ace's death, leaving him devastated by guilt for not saving his brother. This captivating backstory is in my opinion the greatest argument for him, but it doesn't cut it. Even if Sabo was a planned character all along, he feels like a replacement for Ace. The death of Ace was such a huge moment in the story, but also a risky writing decision from Oda. Having a second older brother that also gets fire powers revealed soon after diminishes the meaning of that moment for me. I think Sabo lacks the personality or uniqueness to be greater than the character he in my view replaced. Ace has so much personality compared to Sabo. Ace was fiercely independent, hot-headed and proud, yet deeply loyal and compassionate toward those he loved. Ace's personality stands out more because it's shaped by raw emotion, flaws, and his constant fight to find where he belongs. He isn't just strong, he is driven by pain, pride, and love in a way that makes him feel real and human. Sabo, on the other hand, just appears in the story and seems to already be calm and composed. He seems to already know who he is, while Ace's ongoing struggle and vulnerability makes his character hit much harder. So is this a hot take or not? Since Ace generally is the more liked, I would say this is a warm take. Not crazy hot, but still the more unpopular choice. But this next one might turn up the temperature. I like fake out deaths. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen anyone be positive about the fake death since ever. But let's play devil's advocate and say that this person is right for a second. Fake out deaths can be kinda cool. They crank up the tension. You genuinely think a character is done for. Like Pell carrying that bomb, and then boom, they survive. It's a wild emotional ride. You feel the fear, the heartbreak, and then the relief. This could work if it's done extremely sparsely. And that's the problem with it in One Piece for me. It has been done so many times. Off the top of my head, I remember Igaram, Saul, Pound, and obviously Pell is the greatest example. And that's 3 too many. If you rarely do this, it can lead to a great plot twist, like it does in The Dark Knight Rises. If you know, you know. But unfortunately, One Piece has done this so many times that it would be a bigger twist if the character actually did meet their end. So this take that the fake deaths are actually a good thing is volcanic heat. I can feel it burning. And it's not getting cold just yet. Nami could run a gauntlet with all of Luffy's pre-timeskip villains and win like pretty easily. This person actually wrote post-timeskip, but I sure hope they meant pre. I'm concerned otherwise, so I'm gonna treat it as such. This is interesting. The keyword here is all. Not most, but every single one. My gut feeling is telling me that she wouldn't run the gauntlet to the very end, but let's look at what she's up against. I don't see her having any trouble with any East Blue villain. Kuro's speed could spark trouble, but with her defeating Khalifa, who knew all the 6 powers, you can't really argue that it would be too much trouble. It would be so satisfying seeing her totally dismantle Arlong, and I think current Nami easily could. Then we move on to Baroque Works and Crocodile. She already proved that she can beat one of the top agents, and that was pre-timeskip. But then we got the first real test, Sir Crocodile. This would be the closest battle this far, but I think she would still come out on top, at least against this aquaphobic version of Crocodile, considering her rain-based attacks that could weaken him before striking him with a Thunder Shark tempo. Bellamy gets buried. The next villain, however, is unfortunately Divine, God Enel. Nami's run in the gauntlet ends here. Enel's observation haki, paired with being immune to most of Nami's offense, because well, he is Thunder. With no haki of her own, all bets are on NL, and I don't think it would be tough for him either. Even if we moved past NL, I think she would have an extremely hard time against Rob Lucci, even though it is more winnable than against NL. So upon further research, my gut feeling was right. This take could have ended up in the fiery category, but the way you made it sound like she would breeze through everyone, I'll have to put it in volcanic heat as well. A while ago I told you my dog became a pirate. For anyone new, her name is Nova and her bounty started at just 1 berry. But for every single new subscriber, her bounty goes up by 1. Last time she was sitting at 147 berries. Thanks to you guys, her bounty is now at 196. If you want to help her climb the ranks and one day become a famous pirate, hit that subscribe button and raise her bounty even higher. Surprisingly, I got a lot of takes about Magellan of all people. Magellan is the best antagonist because there were truly stakes with him. Magellan is Yonko Commander 1 or low Admiral level. If Magellan trained and didn't poop for 10 hours, he would easily be Admiral level. And finally, Magellan solos Gear 4th Bounce Man. Let's first address him being the best antagonist. I totally get that the stakes felt very real with him. Everything went so smoothly during Impel Down until he suddenly stood in Luffy's way. Luffy didn't just lose the battle, he was utterly defeated and left to die. It really is only because of Bon Clay's determination he managed to carry on. But here's the thing, stakes alone don't make a great villain for me. I need more than just danger. I need depth, personality, and motive. Magellan is terrifying, sure, but he's more of a force of nature than a layered character. He's doing his job, he's strong, and that's about it. That's why villains like Doflamingo or Blackbeard shine brighter. Doflamingo isn't just powerful, he's charismatic, manipulative, and his twisted worldview gives you chills. He's evil and fun to watch at the same time. And Blackbeard is the perfect opposite of Luffy. Ambitious, chaotic, and hungry for freedom in the ugliest way possible. It really comes down to what kind of villain you enjoy. Magellan being the best antagonist is easily a fiery take. Now to the people who hyped up his strength. Is he low Admiral level? Honestly, I think there's some truth to that. His poison abilities are straight up broken in the right conditions. I could definitely see him taking down some Yonko commanders, like Jack and maybe Cracker. But once you start comparing him to faster, more adaptable fighters like Katakuri or Marco, things get tricky. Those two could probably avoid his attacks, adapt during the fight, and wear him down before he lands the one lethal hit. Magellan's power is devastating, but it's also slow and stamina heavy. I feel like one mistake on his part could be the end for him. If he didn't get any kind of power up after the time skip, I would personally place him around mid Yonko Commander 1 tier. A monster in close quarters, but he appears to be slower and have less mobility than any of the admirals we've seen. A lot of people think highly of his powers and potential though, so these takes hyping him up are pretty chilly. Usopp solos Kaido. Bro, I asked for hot takes. I'm freezing to death with this one. We all know he does. Ice cold. Next. Usopp is useless and will die by the end. That took a turn. Time to get serious. I know this is a growing sentiment, but I strongly disagree with Usopp being useless. He's actually incredibly resourceful and indispensable to the crew. Before Frankie arrived, he was their makeshift shipwright, keeping the Going Merry afloat and making sure the crew could even set sail. He also invented Nami's climate attack, giving her a powerful weapon to turn her into a frontline fighter. On top of that, his sniping skills have directly saved crew members multiple times. He really helped Robin in Enies lobby with his crazy distant snipes. He took out Sugar to protect Luffy and Law in Dressrosa with a jaw-dropping shot. And most people forget that he saved Zoro from Shu's rust-based attacks in Enies lobby. Usopp's victories often rely on strategy, timing, and precision, rather than raw strength, which makes him just as critical as other crewmates in his own way. So no, Usopp isn't useless. He's the brains and the backup. That said, I do think there's a chance Usopp could sadly die by the end of the story. His lifelong goal is to become a brave warrior of the sea. This could very well involve some kind of heroic sacrifice. Some fans point to past interviews where Oda might have allegedly hinted at a Straw Hat's death, though I couldn't find the exact source for this. Still, it fits the narrative. Usopp's role has always been about courage, cleverness, and protecting his friends, so a final act of selflessness wouldn't feel out of character. So all in all, I'll put this in warm, since many people subscribe to the notion of Usopp being useless, unfortunately. That's the takes I have for you guys today. Feel free to flame me in the comments for my own opinions, and don't forget to leave some hot takes for the next part. And by the way, YouTube think you're gonna love this video. I hope they are right.